Hi, this note from the Camino will be in English for my friends, my nephews, my loved ones, including you too. And I am today in the stage between uh, Palas del Rey or Lestedo to Melide and then Arzua. I'm doing 20 Ks, 20 kilometers, around 12 miles from Lestedo to Melide. I don't do more than 20 kilometers a day. Um, the whole Camino is basically the Camino Frances. There's many caminos, the Portuguese one, the primitive one, etc. The main one is the French one, El Camino Frances, and it goes from the Pyrenees, from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, all the way to Santiago de Compostela, 800 Ks, around 500 miles. And it's you can do it 20 Ks a day, which is about 40 days. Younger people do 25, 30 kilometers. Some people do 15. That depends how much you really do. You really can do. Once you start walking, you build up some resistance, and I say that by a week or 10 days, you really develop the stamina to walk. Now, the Camino has been a pilgrimage for more than 10 centuries. This way in the north of Spain, from east to west, was probably developed by the Celts, which arrived in this area centuries ago. Then the Romans also used it, improved it, built bridges. They were good to that. And then it became a pilgrimage long after that. Now, who was Santiago or San Jacobo, Saint James? This Santiago is one of the disciples of Jesus Christ. He was a cousin, Maria and Salome, Mary, Virgin Mary, and Salome were sisters, and Jesus, like any other nonviolent social mover, um, was killed, like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and once that happened, St. James or Santiago decided to come to Spain and evangelize, talk about Jesus, etc. And he did. He was in Spain for several years. He built his own following, his apostles, and el Camino.
¿Cómo va usted?
Muy bien, gracias.
Bien, cansado?
Un poquito,
Ah.
un petit peu.
Oh, mais vous êtes français?
Non, ma mère était française.
Ah,
Je
vous faites
suis
le
de
chemin?
l'Amérique latine, alors.
Ah oui.
Mais je
Vous êtes parti d'où ce matin?
Ce matin de l'Estedos.
Ah, nous aussi.
Oui?
Oui.
Good. Et jusqu'à Mélide?
Oui.
Si.
Hein? La même chose. 20 kilomètres, ça, je peux pas faire plus.
Nous non plus. Et on ne veut pas faire. On ne veut pas faire.
¿Cuánto
On veut
años?
pas.
On y va, voilà. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta
on va aller
luego.
voir. Allez.
Buen camino. The beauty of the Camino is finding people like this. Um, there is a camaraderie that builds up. I do it in spring. I like it in spring because the weather keeps on improving, and and the warmer days are ahead. But because it becomes very crowded during the summer. But of course, young people like it in the summer because it becomes a walk and a vacation. So we were talking about Santiago. So he was in Spain evangelizing, and after some years, he went back to Jerusalem. He stopped in Turkey to visit Mary, and when he arrived in Jerusalem, he was uh, uh, beheaded, and his disciples decided to take his body and his head back to Spain, where they found a place where they buried him. Uh, the legend says that the body traveled through the Mediterranean by itself, but anyway, so it took about 10 centuries before the body was found. It was a special moment for Spain because they were fighting the Moors. The Moors had been in Spain for about 800 years, um, and of course the even though the Moors were very permissive with religion, and it was supposedly a nice time for most everybody. The feudal kings and they wanted to kick the Moors out, which they did, and around the 16th century, they were able to expel them. But for that time, they needed a figurehead. So they decided that the Santiago was the apostle that could reunite the the populace, the people, and fight against the Moor for the Christian religion, and that's what they did. And they invented this battle, La Batalla de Clavijo, where supposedly Santiago appeared in a horse, landing a sword, beheading Moors. So it became Santiago Matamoros, Santiago the Moor Slayer. And that was totally uh, in contrast with the Santiago, which is the humble, the evangelizer, the pilgrim, the one that came with a message of peace and love, like the early Christians. This Santiago, the Moor Slayer, was enshrined by as the symbol of the new Christianity, and because soon after the Moors were expelled from Spain, the Cristobal Colon uh, found the New World, and the Spanish and the Portuguese went to the Americas to evangelize and conquer and bring gold, etc., etc., etc. And they also brought this Santiago uh, with them, and the Moor Slayer became the Indian Slayer, Santiago Mata Indios. And it's so interesting because still in Peru and Mexico, July 25th, when this the day of Santiago, of the saint, there are certain fiestas populares where the Santiago, uh, like a float, is put on a horse, taken through the streets, and the whole thing is portrayed still, of that kind of Santiago, which is not this one. This one in the is the pilgrimage is in the name of this other Santiago, the humble one, the one that came with the message of peace and love. So I'm going to leave it there, and I will continue with this note. So to give you more facts about the way, about the Camino de Santiago.